Talking money is a popular conversation, and for some couples, the pandemic has added on to financial stresses. But with open communication on financial topics that need to be tackled, love and marriage and money can all work hand in hand. Joining us to talk about important money conversations to have with your spouse is personal finance expert and host of the YouTube show, The Table. We have Anthony O'Neill. Welcome, Anthony.
Oh man, sister, thank you so much for having me on. Such a
Yeah.
beautiful city you're in. I wish I was there at the beautiful weather.
Hey, I know it's so warm over here. And Anthony, I'm so thrilled we have you on to talk about this today. I think it's so important. So, can you tell us, how has the pandemic added to financial stress for couples?
Man, it's added a lot. If you really step back, a recent study came out and revealed that nearly 1 in 5 couples have realized that the pandemic has heightened the financial stress within each other. And one of the things that we're realizing is that the reason why it's heightened it, right, is because they didn't really have a conversation in the beginning of the relationship about money. And so I'm teaching couples to have the conversation about the past, okay? How was the upbringing? Did their parents talk about money? Were they exposed to debt? Were they exposed to money? So we can understand the root of where they started from, then we can address it and we can best put a plan together to help us move forward as a couple.
And you mentioned some really key important topics that I wanted to ask you about. How does our upbringing with money play a part into our finances today?
Man, it plays a huge part when it comes to our upbringing today. Like, keep in mind, I watched my mom work 3 jobs, and unfortunately, we didn't really have the best Christmas, right? But we also did rack up a lot of debt, and so our upbringing teaches us what's okay and what's not okay. And some people may feel as if, hey, well, if I have debt, everyone else is doing it. Okay, cool, great. Let's have the conversation so we can get on the same page together, and we can eliminate some of this debt, and we can move forward, so we can have a stress-free, a financially free relationship.
And you mentioned talking about your upbringing with money, discussing debt, putting it out on the table. Why is it also important that couples talk about their dreams and goals?
I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, we all want to have a healthy and wealthy family. I don't know about you, Danielle, but I pray that I'll be able to leave in a legacy for my children's children. And so my dream is to build my wife her dream home. My dream is so my kids can start off with wealth, not start off with debt. And so if we as a couple can sit down and let's talk about the system. Let's talk about what systems are we going to put in place to get out of debt, and then what systems are we going to put in place to build wealth so we can go after our dreams and we can bless our kids with our wealth down the road. We got to have the conversation up front. The breeding ground for understanding and a healthy relationship moving forward is clear communication from the very beginning. Let's put everything on the table. And when we put everything on the table, the good and the bad, we got to have grace. We got to allow room for the other person to come and say, you know what, I messed up, I screwed up, but my mind is ready and thinking differently so we can move forward.
I like that you mentioned that, making sure that you show each other grace when putting this all on the table. And why is it important that couples have these conversations before saying I do?
Well, hey, listen, the studies are showing us nearly 52% of people are getting divorced, and that's because of money. And so I'm not an expert in marriages or in divorce. I'm an expert in money, right?
Yes.
But I think if we can talk about money up front, so my suggestion is that when you're dating as a single brother, when I take a beautiful sister out about date 3, date 4, I'm asking her, hey, what's your thoughts around money? Because before we get into a committed relationship, I need to make sure, you need to make sure that we are aligned with where we're going in life, where we're going with our finances. You know,
Right.
what do we desire the same things, you know? And
Anthony,
so
such
I
a pleasure
highly
having
recommend.
you on. We're running out of time, but for more financial advice, you can visit anthonyo'neill.com.